Remy Kolessar, the Deputy Director General for the Swedish Energy Agency. We are so happy you made it.
Yes.
You were also caught in traffic.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had SMS contact this morning. I'm sitting on this train. I'm not sure it will come, but now you're here.
I was rerouted also. So
Yeah. We are so happy for that, Remy. And
much.
please, now you've listened a little to the previous speakers here, and you will give us some reflections from the Swedish Energy Agency and your role in this development.
Yes, actually, I will continue with insight in the development of the heating sector and decarbonization of the heating sector in Sweden, basically following a lot of what Martin have been saying, but maybe highlighting the policy perspective and what has been the driving force in this development. And so, yes, as Martin said before, back in the 70s, we had mostly all of our heating sector was depending on fossil fuels, heating oil mostly from the 70s, and gradually was replaced by initially by electricity and district heating. At the time, we were also decarbonizing the district heating sector. So that was the initial development driven by electrification and district heating. And then, as you can see, starting from the millennium, we have this large increase and fast increase in heat pumps that combine also with biomass, which is very important also here in Sweden, basically completely remove dependence on fossil fuels and heating oil in the Swedish heating sector. We are using mostly 50-60% of the energy for heating in Sweden, so it's quite a lot of the building and energy used in buildings. And as Martin said also and showed before, we had this dramatic increase in heat pumps in the beginning of the 2000 with a very fast deployment and installation of heat pumps, mostly in households and houses. 1.2 million out of 2 million houses today in Sweden have a heat pump installed. So that's a dramatic increase and dramatic fast evolution in few years. This was also driven by energy efficiency in terms of replacing direct electricity heating by heat pumps also to some extent. And this is something that is actually because of the electricity prices and the crisis we've seen in a couple of years, the last few years, really has been driving the market forward in this perspective. But today, a large majority of the heat pumps are installed in houses. And so what has been the policy framework to develop this? Well, Sweden was very early in establishing a carbon tax back in 1991. So this was one of the first driving force to this transition and for the whole sector, not particularly for heat pumps. But when coming to heat pumps, technology public procurements were something to create a market and create the first interest and demonstration of application of the new technology, and has been a very important part of our policy portfolio. This was also combined in the very early stages around the millennium with investment support, subsidies for installation, which was also a very important part in the early stage in this development. But one of the very important and probably most important in this technology development have been the long-term dedicated research and development programs in the area for technology development, for systemic integration. And this is something that we are still ongoing and very important for creating, well, technology, knowledge, but also competencies and working forces. And finally, very much national collaboration. We've been having all those years, has been very central national collaboration between the industry, between the public sector and agency, and international collaboration that I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot for the rest of the day. But this combination of policies helped to create this technology push, and at the same time this market pool created the demand at the same time we're pushing forward for technology. And so that's, of course, something that is very, well, what has been happening in Sweden and not possibly to replicate everywhere, but this combination of policies have been the key for this development in many aspects. And by that, I think
Thank you so much.
Stay
It was
here.
perfect, and I really appreciate the way the bullets here. You know, these are the policy measures we've done in Sweden, and this is what we've seen. Because R&D, I mean, it was not the first one there, but still, if we hadn't had also this collaboration between industry and academia. And I know that RISE, I mean, you've been working dedicatedly with this for decades. I mean, so we have really bridged basic science and applied research in a beautiful way. It's not easy.
No, and that's this long term. I mean, you need the long term perspective.
Exactly.
You cannot buy a shortcut in that case.
No. So even if it's urgent, we need to be
Yes, long term.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
And